Hello everyone, my name is Ahmad and Yuma Rafi. Here I want to explain about the KNN algorithm. For the first is the introduction. The machine learning is one of the branches of artificial intelligence sciences, and it contains several algorithms that can be a method or media for machine learning to learn from the data and make a decision. So basically the algorithm of the machine learning is a way for machine to think like a human, like a sorting and etc. And those algorithms are divided into several categories that depend on the human contribution on the system, such as supervised, unsupervised, and semi-supervised, and also the reinforcement learning. And the K-nearest neighbor or KNN algorithm is a part of supervised learning which need the human touch to generate the machine learning process. So that's for the introduction about the machine learning and also the KNN. So this is the important to note, which is the inappropriate data test should be quite similar with the data set that the algorithm will perform. For example, if you want the program is able to categorize the race of dog, your data test should be the characteristics of each dog races, not cat races, because the KNN algorithm is how to say it, labeling the data based on the category. If the category is not matched with the label, I think the result is gonna be wrong. Okay, so how it works? When the KNN works, it determines the unknown data based on the distance between the data category that has been determined before. As you can see in the initial data, for example, the first thing that we should do is uh, prepare the data set. After that, we should train the data so it can able to recognize if the new data is appeared. As you see in the initial data, there is two label, which is cat and dog. The blue one is dog and the red one is cat. When the new data appear, the algorithm will try to analyze it and label it. For the first is they will calculate the distance as a name, which is the nearest neighbor. So it use the nearest distance from the new data. So it will label the new data according to the each data, the neighbor data. For example, in the calculate distance, so here we determine that k is 3. After determining, as you can see, there is because of the cat label is nearest from the dog, so the new data is categorized as the cat. And then the example of the KNN. The work of Faisal et al. 2020 shows that how the K-nearest neighbor or KNN algorithm for analyzing customer satisfaction of camera tenants and the important data such as price, facilities, services, and loyalty are input attributes of customer satisfaction, which satisfied and dissatisfied is the result of the output. And then firstly, they collect data from the customer using questionnaire that includes several questions that will be inputted as main variable. The total data in this dataset is 100 records, each of which has 10 attributes. Then the dataset will be trained and processed using the 10-fold cross-validation method to analyze the difference between accuracy and error obtained and trying to analyze the difference between accuracy and error obtained by comparing the predicted results and results. They also use the confusion matrix, stable performance vector, and ROC curve in order to evaluate the model's performance and get specified result. From this work, we know that they use uh, the general KNN method. The first, they collect the data, they analyze the data, they train the data, they input the new data, and after the algorithm able to determine the new data, they will try to analyze the accuracy and the error obtained by comparing the predicted result and the result. For the last, they also use the confusion matrix, table, performance vector, and ROC curve. And then the implementation of KNN in our life. The first is facial recognition. Mostly laptop and handphone or smartphone today have facial recognition as their security. And the second is diagnosing heart disease. This is used for diagnose the heart disease from patient. So they not how to say it? They not only use doctor, so they only use the machine learning algorithm, so it can decrease the cost, improve the performance, and and so on. And the last is the economic forecasting. So it's used for stock prediction. And then the advantage and disadvantage of the car nearest neighbor. For the advantage, KNN is a simple, comprehensive, and scalable machine learning algorithm. The second is the predictive power is very high, which makes it effective and efficient for large training sets. And the last is the mathematical computation are easy to comprehend and understand. For the disadvantages, the first is KNN can be expensive in determination of k if the dataset is large, and the prediction phase will be slow and requires enormous storage. And the last is a fixed k value will result in a bias on large categories. And the conclusion about the K-nearest neighbor. The implementation of KNN is highly depends on the proper data test and dataset. If both of them is not correlated or there's imbalanced data, the KNN will not work properly and it can affect the prediction accuracy. So that is important for you to collect the data properly, and you have to how to say it, you have to train and make sure the data test and the data set is correlated with your purpose. For example, in the so I think that's all for me. My name is so that's for the conclusion. And that's all for me. My name is Ahmad Nanda Rafi, and thank you.